Good morning. We've talked about the deity of Jesus and the humanity of Jesus. And now what we want to do is bring them together with the understanding that he was 100% God and 100% human. And that those two natures come in one person. And the text that I think we need to go to for this is Philippians 2, 5 through 11. But what I'd like to do over the next few days is just kind of go slow through it and talk about it and sort of noodle on it a little bit over a few days. I think it'll be helpful for us. So let's look in verse 5 and 6 as it's setting up what's known as kenosis. And we'll talk about what that is specifically in the future. Have this mind among yourselves, which is yours in Christ Jesus, who, though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped. That's verse 5 and 6. So the first thing you want to note is that the incarnation of Christ is lifted up by Paul as an example of the kind of mind, a humble mind is the context here that has led up to it in Philippians 2, the humility of mind that we ought to have. And so the example given to us is Jesus, that he who was eternally God the Son condescended and took on this human form, and the language will come about being made and born in the likeness of men, being found in fashion as a man, that he would humble himself in that way. So the incarnation is an example to us of the kind of radical humility that it takes to live in community as a Christian. Now, at the beginning, verse 6 here, this description of God the Son is who, though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped. Form, who being in, some translations say being in nature God. The idea is that he had all the attributes of God. It's this Colossians 2:9 that all the fullness of deity dwells in bodily form. But what does it mean when it says he did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped? Well, it's clearly an emphasis on his humility. That's the entire context here. And of course, in one sense, he didn't need to try to grasp for it because he had all the capacities of what it was to be God. And yet, there's something about humility that is emphasized here. And some commentators take this angle, and I want to share it with you. And that is that Jesus is referred to by Paul in Romans as the second Adam. And what was it that the first Adam did? The first Adam ate of the fruit, and it was said in Genesis that he knew that, quote, that part of the temptation was, by the serpent, that you'll become like God, knowing good and evil, right? So Jesus here is the flip of Adam, is part of the picture. As the second Adam, he reverses the curse. And how does he reverse the curse? He reverses the curse by willfully taking on the constraints of humanity, rather than having the impulse and arrogance to try to resist the constraints like Adam did. In that way, he flips the script on Adam in his humility. And that's part of what makes the incarnation so great. So we're going to continue to look at this in the days ahead here as we look at Philippians 2, thinking about deity, humanity in one. May the Lord bless you today.